Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today I'm participating in These Are a Few of Our Favorite Things collaboration hosted by my friends Dawn from Shabby Meets Bling and Monica from Up All Night DIY. Today's video is some things that I made last year that are a few of my favorite things. So let's get started. I'm going to be doing some French country, shabby chic type DIYs here. Now the first thing I have here is this really nice scrapbook paper that I printed off of Creative Fabrica. I already had this plaid, and I'm going to be putting this on a frame. We're just going to frame it. That's all we're going to do. Maybe add a few more touches. But these are going to be quick and easy DIYs, and what is more easier than just framing some beautiful scrap paper? I have my plaid paper cut to size. And I also have a piece of cardboard. I'm not going to Mod Podge the plaid onto the cardboard. I'm just going to put the reindeer on top of the plaid. And we'll just leave it loose. All right, I have it done and in the frame, and I think this looks so gorgeous. And this is a frame that I'd gotten from the thrift store a while back, and I used some molds and clay and did all those details. So I'm going to be adding those cute little tiny jingle bells, and these are little buttons that are snowflakes that I got from Hobby Lobby that I'm going to be cutting off the backs and just hot gluing them on. So let's go ahead and get those teeny tiny jingle bells glued on. I'm going to put those on the wreath. I'm going to put 3 on each side. And I got one more to do. All right, now I got to figure out where I'm going to put the snowflakes. So I think I want to cover some of those bigger snowflakes that you can see on there. And I'm going to use about 8 of these snowflakes. I only have 6 out right now, but I did go ahead and add 2 more to it. All right, the next thing I'm doing is taking this feather boa that you can get from Amazon. You can probably get them from Hobby Lobby or any place. And I'm just going to cut it to size. This is going to be some pretty fancy snow down here at the reindeer's feet. And I'm just going to hot glue this on. Just get a bead of hot glue. And I'm not gluing anything to the frame. This is all on the paper. I'm just going to tack it down. And that is all I'm going to be doing to this picture. I think it's gorgeous. All right, let's get started on DIY number 2. This is another really quick and easy DIY. This is another thrift store picture frame that I did the same thing with the moldings and the clay. Just taking some scrapbook paper that I printed off of Creative Fabrica. This is my cardboard size. I'm just trying to figure out, do I want to do the right side or the left side here? So I'm going to go ahead and get the white cut off just so I can see. I'm going to place this right here, fold it over just a little bit. This is just an ornament I got from Hobby Lobby like, oh my gosh, I think 20 years ago. I'm going to go ahead and use the right side of the paper. I think that's prettier. Just going to go ahead and take my X-Acto knife and cut it to fit here. Pull it apart. Looks like I didn't get it through all the way. Let's do a little bit more there. Okay. And this is going to get Mod Podged onto the cardboard. I'm just going to put this in here right now. Shut this up. See how pretty that is. And then I'm just going to be hanging that ornament there. Let's get that Mod Podged on. All right. Got Mod Podge on my cardboard here. I'm just going to smooth out my paper. Perfect. Let's get it back in the frame. And I'm just going to hang it from here. I'm not going to hot glue it. I've got that opening there. I'm just going to stick that hanger, that jute hanger through there. I've got to pull it over a little bit. All right, and I want to put something down here, but you know, you could just stop right there. So what I'm going to use is a few pieces of greenery. I have a real pine cone here and then some little berry things. I also want to show you, this was another thing I was going to use. This is another one of my ornaments, and it's a moose antler. And I also have these little deer antler ones too that I thought would look nice. I also thought about adding the deer antler with this, but I think I'll use that deer antler on another project. But anything like this would look really cool just with a frame and some scrapbook paper. So now I'm just going to go ahead and get my greenery glued on. I'm going to put this piece right here. Then I'm going to put the pine cone on. I'm going to add another piece of greenery right there. And then I'm going to glue my little berries on each side here of the pine cone. And that is all I'm going to be doing to this picture. I think this is really pretty. Now let's do DIY number 3. And yet again, I'm using something that's like a picture frame. This came off that cabinet that I did that Tim Burton inspired DIY. And I'm going to use it like a picture frame because that's what this was for. It's got the little things on the back, but no cardboard or glass. But I want to use these little Dollar Tree trees. The little wood cutouts are from those little crafting kits. And of course I have the little ornament one. I'm going to go ahead and use the 2 trees. I need to cut off these little tabs because those, you know, stick down in that piece of wood. And I thought this would work, you know. It's a little bit thicker than I thought, so I'm just going to get my clippers out. Just clip it off. So I'm going to be placing, working it this way. I'm going to put these trees here. I'm going to go ahead and put this tree here. But first, I want to paint this. It needs to be spruced up. I sanded it up a little bit. I'm going to use my Waverly chalk paint and plaster and get a nice fresh coat of paint on here. I think it looks so much better this color than the other color that it is. All right, I'm also going to take that plaster and put it on the tree because the tree is all glittery and I don't want glitter. And you know, by painting these white, it looks like there's snow on it because of the texture from the glitter. All right, the next thing I'm painting is the 2 little wood cutouts, and I'm using the color Latte. And you can see it's just a tad bit darker than the natural wood color. I didn't want to do green trees on this one. I wanted to just keep it a little more neutral looking. I also have that piece of the plaid from the first project that I'm going to use on this cardboard that I cut to fit in the center of the frame. And I'll just be Mod Podging this on to the cardboard. I'm just going to mark here real quick and just cut with my scissors. All right, now that I'm waiting for those trees to dry, and this is dry, I'm just take some sandpaper and I'm going to be distressing this up a bit. I still like the distressed look that it had. All right, now the trees are all dry and I'm just taking that plaster paint color, and I'm using my dry brush here, and I'm just dabbing on a little bit to make it look like there's a little bit of snow on here, just a touch. All right, so this is how it's going to look. I am going to be gluing these trees down, and then I'll glue the plastic one on top just like this. But I think that is just a little bit too long there, the trunk. So I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to take my clippers here and cut it off. I want it down a little bit lower. All right, so now it is time to just hot glue the trees on. It's going to tack it right there and right there, and a little bit on that one. I have these cute little wood snowflakes that I want to put on top of each tree, and this will also cover that hole in the plastic one that's an ornament. I'm going to go ahead and put this one on first because this tree is going to cover it just a little bit. And I did cut that off just a little bit more. That trunk was just still a little bit too long. Let's get some glue on here. Go ahead and glue this snowflake on top of this tree. And I want to use one of these antlers. So I did cut that off, and it did take a little bit, because it's resin, took a little bit off, but that's going to get covered with some greenery. So I'm going to go ahead and get this snowflake attached. And then I'm going to hot glue this little antler up here in this corner. Get these stringies cleaned up off of here. All right, now I want to put this greenery on here. This will help cover up that spot. I'm not going to do too much here, just these 3 little pieces of greenery. And then I have these little white berries that I want to glue up here too. All right, I think that looks really cute. And you know what? I changed my mind on this. No, I'm going to keep the plaid, but I thought I wanted to make it look like snow. And I love that tool that you get from the Dollar Tree that looks like snow. I love to use this all the time. So I did pull that off, and that one spot on the plaid will be covered up from the tree, so it's no big deal. So I'm just going to glue it on the back part of the cardboard here. And I'm going to flip it over. Got to cut this a little bit. Glue this down. Pull it tight. And I'm going to cut the corner here just a little bit. And I'm going to get this side glued on, and then I'll get the other side done too. And then I'll put it back in the frame. So I got it back in, and I glued the tree back to it. Now the bottom here, I want some snow, and this is a piece of styrofoam that I cut off of that other chunk there. I'm going to take my heat gun, and I'm just going to go over it lightly, just kind of shrink it down a little bit. You know, I could use cotton, I could use the feathers, but I thought this was kind of unique to do this. I kind of like the way this looks. But I do need to cut it off just a touch there. All right, I did do a little bit more of the heat gun to it just to make it shrink a little bit more. I think this looks really cool. So I'm just going to hot glue it on. Press it down firmly. There we go. Plus it covers up that, extra part of that wood on the tree trunks. All right, I think this looks cute, but I need to do something for a knob over there. Before I do the knob, I decided to add this little Let It Snow wooden mini ornament. Just going to hot glue it on the corner here. Now for my knob, I had a few choices. I have this little ball knob, I have this little wood plug, then I also have this really pretty knob, which I think I'm going to put the pretty one on here. It's a little crystal and metal, one kind of bronzy color. I think I'm just gonna hot glue it on. I may change my mind, so I'm just gonna hot glue it on for now. I think this turned out so cute. I really love it. Now guess what? We got some bonus DIYs. Here are some really quick and easy Christmas decor DIYs. So you have any kind of, silver plated or whatever little dishes. This is a little sugar dish. I have a little creamer that matches it. I'm just going to take a doily and one of those bottle brush trees, and you just stick it inside. How easy is that? So you don't have to do anything. You can do a whole bunch of these with all different kinds of crystal pieces. I also have this old doorknob that I'm going to use this little bottle brush. It's a pick, and I cut part of it off already, but it seems to be still a little bit too long. I got this pick from Hobby Lobby. Take my clippers and clip it off, and I'm just going to hot glue it in here because that's not going to do any kind of damage. It'll just come right off. So let's get some hot glue. Just going to put lots of hot glue on it. I'm just going to stick it down in the doorknob and hold it for a little bit. Okay, and that is all you have to do. But I'm going to dress this up just a little bit. I also have one of those old crystal doorknobs too that you could also put little trees in. So I have a little piece of that feather boa. I'm not going to glue anything to the doorknob. It's just glued on the ends here. And I could leave it just like this too if I wanted to. Very wintry looking. You can make a whole bunch of these if you had those doorknobs. I'm just going to add a little bit of greenery here. This came off of another ornament. I don't want the plastic pine cone, but I think this will fit here perfectly. Just to add a touch of green and red. Make it more Christmassy right now. I'm just going to hot glue it to the boa, right where I pieced it together. And I also want to add this cute little silver jingle bell in the middle. Perfect. I could leave it just like this, but I'm just going to add a couple more pip berries. It was bothering me having 4. I like 6 better. So I'm just going to add a pip berry here on each side of the bell. And I also added a little bit of snow with that plaster color to the berries. Now for my last project, I have these Santa mugs that I got at the thrift store. And this one was all chipped up. I think it was $1.99 and I got it half off. I'd already taken the tag off of this one. And then I have this one. It's actually $2.99 on here. No, it's hard to see, and it was half off. This is Pottery Barn. I'm surprised they didn't mark it up for more. So I looked online, and to get a set of 4 of these is like $60 regular price, and then they were on sale for $45. So I got this mug for $1.50. Now this one I got for 99 cents. I've had it for quite a while. I think this one looks more vintagey. This isn't anything. I can see it says like microwave on here. So, but it kind of reminds me of more vintage, something like what my grandmother had. I'm going to be spray painting these all white with some chalk paint, except for that little one. Just these two. I love the way it came out. And you can just decorate them just like this if you want to. The only thing I don't like about this is you can't see like where his eyes are, but that's okay. So I've gone ahead and glued in some styrofoam because I'm going to put some bottle brushes in here. The white one is that pick from Hobby Lobby. I just need to tack that in just a little bit more. And I'm going to hot glue the green one on here. I'm going to go ahead and work on the white one first. I went ahead and took the bottle brush out because I'm going to, instead of having the middle, I'm going to put it off to the side. And this is a pick that you can get from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to go all white on this one. Just trying to get it stuck in there. and put the bottle brush over to the right side. I need to cut it off just a little bit more. I want it a little bit shorter. So I think this looks pretty just how it is, but you know me, I need to add just a little bit more to it. All right, I have these little feather picks here. I'm going to cut them off and I'm going to place them in here. I think it just needs a little bit of feathers. That one tucked in there. And get this last one in. Oops, that came out. I think I got that cut just a little bit too short on that pick, so I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue on the bottom and then tuck it in. All right, and this one is done. For this other mug, I am going to make a bow here really quick. It's a really simple bow. I'm not going to put a tail on it. Let's go ahead and get this fluffed out. I'm going to do two separate tails that I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue here, just scrunch them up like so. Let's get the other one. Go scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. And I'm going to glue these to the inside of the cup over the handle or the mug. Okay, just like that. And the bow will go there. And you know what? I'm not really liking this bow. I think it's a little too big. Yeah, I think it is. All right, let's just toss it. Okay, it's gone. Instead, how about I put a little bit of this red tinsel trim around the bottom. I'm just going to fill in this gap here. I'm just kind of testing this out to see if I like this idea. All right, I went ahead and did it. I did a couple rows. I didn't hot glue it to the mug. I did it to the inside. And now I want to add some stuff here. So the first thing I'm taking is that tool that I love to use that's from the Dollar Tree that looks like snow, as I used in the one project earlier. I'm just going to cut it to this size. And I'm going to scrunch it up. Scrunch, 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 scrunch. And take some wire and twist it around. Just like so. Get that all twisted. Then I'm going to hot glue this on top of the tails. Now the next thing I want to do is add some greenery. So I'm thinking about this piece kind of like right there, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that in. A lot of hot glue on there. All right. And then I want to add some red. So I got these little bunch of red berries here. I love these, this color. Oops, let's kind of fluff this out a little bit. And I'm going to hot glue that in about right there. All right, I think this looks really cute. Just want to add a few more things. I have this cute little snowflake that I put in here. I also added some more tulle and some white berries and a few more pieces of greenery to fluff it out a little more. Now let's see how everything turned out. All right, my sweet friends, that's going to do it for the video today. I hope that you enjoyed it and that could give you some ideas. Please be sure to check out everybody's videos. I have the playlist link down below in the description box, along with the host channel links. I want to wish everybody a very wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.